Alright, so lesson one, disasters, catastrophes, and apocalypses. This lesson really focused in on the difference between disasters and catastrophes. Before this, I really thought they were the same thing. I used the words interchangeably. I didn't know there was a difference, but quickly did I find out after reading these articles. Disasters are a lot smaller in scale. They don't disrupt everything in a local area. They might disrupt a small part, but not the whole thing. Whereas a catastrophe could disrupt everything for up to a few weeks, and it's really hard for local help to get in. Lesson 2, emergency broadcasting. This one focused in on crisis mapping, which I thought was a really cool idea, it's where you take social medias and you gather all that information up and you put it on a map so you can pinpoint where the most help needs to be made, and you can really help move support in the right direction rather than have it in the wrong areas. Um, Another part of lesson 2 was, is social media important? I think social media is very important. It helps get the word out. People know about disasters. If social media wasn't talking about a certain situation, people, not necessarily as many people, would find out about it. This allows awareness and support, sending donations to the right companies to get the support that it needs, even if you can't personally help yourself. I just think it's very important. Lesson 3, an act of God. This chapter really focused in on religion and how religion, like why people give religion a place in natural disasters, blaming it on natural disasters. Why would God want this to happen? People ask the why question a lot, and that's because people want to know why so they can prepare for it in the future. Because if you know why, you can make sure it doesn't happen again. Lesson 4, run for your life. This lesson was all about help over survival. I found this very interesting because my first instinct when a disaster would happen would be to run, but at the same time, thinking thinking the idea through more, after you get away from the initial problem, you're all alone. I personally want my friends, preferably, but at least somebody around me to help me out in this situation. Surviving is a lot easier with others' help. Um, Another part of lesson 4 was attachment theory, which talks about Harlow's monkeys and Lorenzo's impact theory. I thought Harlow's monkeys was really cool. Definitely helped science helped us understand like how we react in a stressful situation. But I also thought what he was doing with monkeys was pretty horrible. Lorenzo's imprinting theory, I thought it was cool. It was interesting to see how quickly ducks adapt and follow one another. However, I didn't see how that was important for human development just because we don't imprint like that. Lesson 5, Art of Survival. This talks a lot about information in the time of a disaster. And information is vital in a disaster. You need to know what's happening around you, where the support is, where you need to go. But at the same time, you have to understand that not all information could be useful. So you have to figure out how to determine if some information is appropriate and useful to your situation or if it's not good. There's also three categories of people in a disaster. Small part, about 10 to 15% who act very quickly and efficiently, but the vast majority of people just kind of act in a daze, like this isn't actually happening, it's a dream. Lesson 6 was about emergency planning, which I've actually had quite a bit of experience on. My parents have always been very prepared people, so we've always been doing fire drills and running through things like that. So I've always had like that stuff, but it was good to just like read over it again, get a little more in depth. I definitely got a little bit more out of it, especially now that I live alone and not at home. Overall, working in the group, I normally like to just do things on my own, maybe with one or two other people as help, but I felt that we worked really well together. Most people contributed a lot. We always were on Facebook talking about the different situations, and I think it really came out well.